Everyone.
Good day, everyone.
Hi! That's
Everyone.
Padram si Mayor.
To everyone, welcome back to Iloilo Prima Galaw Official. This is Sir D.
and we are here once again in Rated PG, where we talk everything and anything. And this is Ramon.
Under the sun, unfiltered. And I'm Uzi, Aussie.
And,
All right.
and our topic for
Hi.
today is really
Hi.
rated PG.
Ay, nako.
No.
Ay, grabe. May alarm. Bye.
Danger, Rated
Danger
PG.
zone.
Yes. Okay. Actually, our topic for today, I don't know then if it's really something negative or positive, but we can always make something positive out of
Sure, yes.
the negative things that we experience every day.
Mhm.
Because remember that all of us are really looking for, at some point in our lives to be in a relationship, right? Like Uzi had a crush, and then Uzi would want
Ala. I advise you to tread lightly.
This
okay.
is hot seat.
Yes, Uzi will be in a hot seat then for this topic. Okay,
Mhm.
but let me ask you, Uzi, how many exes do you have?
None. But it doesn't mean that I've never loved. Well, whatever
course,
love
like,
is.
Yeah.
According to Prince Charles.
Uzi ex crushes. How many do you have?
Oh my God. It's too many to mention.
And out of those,
Never mind.
I think I know 3 or 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know all of them. Anyways.
What about you, Ramon? How many exes do you have?
Yeah. Na hot seat
That's-
tuloy.
that's
Ayan.
hard-
That's
Kala
heart
mo,
pumping. That's heart
It's a
pumping.
few. There's a few.
There's a
There's a
I could
few.
not count anymore.
Talagang showbiz na showbiz, there's a few.
Showbiz. And you,
Yeah.
and you ask me how many.
Oh,
How
ikaw, sir.
many?
Oh.
You ask me, there's only
Welcome.
one.
Weh! Di nga! Text man!
One and only, and the greatest love I had.
The greatest.
Okay. So, anyway, we, as what I've said earlier, we wish to establish into a relationship, and we wanted in as much as possible to make that relationship last long. But at a certain point, at a certain time, for some reason, we were not able to
You
handle
grow
it.
out of love.
Doesn't
Yeah,
work.
we were not able to handle it well, and a breakup really happens. Okay, so
Mhm,
now we are going to talk about like how do we deal with that, with our exes after that beautiful relationship that has turned sour. Okay, after that successful relationship that has failed. So how do we deal with our exes? What are there certain rules that we need to do? To ease the broken heart, to ease the pain that we experience after experiencing that broken heart. So, like for example, I'm going to ask Ramon then. What do you think would be the would be the rule for you?
Ayan.
How do you deal with your ex, or how did you deal with your ex then after?
Joyce priesthood.
I have only one rule with regards to exes.
Oh.
Make peace of the past so it will not mess up the present.
Oh, yeah, wow. And that ends our program.
Okay. Thank you very
That's
much.
good,
Bye.
that's good.
Okay, bye, and signing off.
Okay. So,
But
what do you mean
seriously,
by that, Mon? What do you mean by that?
but seriously, I know that there would be different degrees and reasons for you to break up a relationship. That's why you'll have an ex. But my concept always is that in order for one to move on, you have to close that door,
Chapter.
that chapter fully, so that you will not have hang-ups. You will not have that other person, your partner, will not have hang-ups, so that both of you can go separate ways and start beautiful or foster a more beautiful and new relationship. So you have to make peace with the past in order for you to have a beautiful present. That's
So
all.
yeah, making peace with that past, meaning then, like literally, after you have broken up, correct? After you have broken up,
Yes.
Yeah.
or after the breakup, meaning there will be no more calls, there will be no more messages.
No.
Not exactly. Not exactly. For me, it is just whatever angst or anger that was there. For example, it was a hurtful breakup. You were able to talk it out. You were able to close that chapter, so that you will be able to make yourself whole again. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't necessarily mean rather that you have to cut all communication. Maybe in the first part of the relationship, whenever there is still that adjustment period, it could be helpful for you to heal. But for me, in my past relationship,
With an S, with an
um,
S.
Plural, yes.
I make sure that I am I am able to close that chapter. We talk about it and break up amicably. So
Ayan.
that is for me.
So that's a sane breakup.
So
And
meaning,
and
It's
go
sorry,
on,
and
go
true
on.
enough, because you will not be able to move forward if you still keep on hurting. How can you give how can you form a new love if you are still haunted by your past? So
right.
that would be unfair to you, because you deserve happiness. However, and your partner, your next partner also deserves that at 100% attention and love, diba?
But for
It's
Because
me, yeah, go on, go on.
Uzi.
no,
What?
on my take on that is, I mean, yeah, as a human being, of course, we have to be really objective, and then you say you have to move on, you have to detach, no communication, no stalking on social media, and all that. But I have no idea why that in my own experience that there is still that longing that you have to just one
To
more talk to that
satisfy.
person, just one more message that person
Uzi,
in
not
in
more.
the
In
hope
your
that
Uzi, in your case, it's not now. It's not one more. It's 10 times more.
I know. So that's why objectively, that you shouldn't be talking to that person. You shouldn't be communicating. You shouldn't be
Yeah,
stalking. You shouldn't be checking out what's going on or talking about that person with common friends because it's
yeah,
over. I mean,
yeah.
it's done. But I don't know if it's why is it human nature to always cling to the past or always to satisfy that urge
Mm.
to break all objectivity and just hope that maybe one more
because you have
message, yeah,
because
diba?
you have
So
that need. You have
Uzi,
yes,
that need. You wanted
exactly,
that
oh,
attention. So
like
sir.
for
go.
me, since what is really involved here, it would be our emotions. So we could
Mm,
never be very objective with that, Uzi and Ramon.
mm-hmm,
True.
There would always be at some point subjectivity there. I mean, like in my case, in order for me to move on, I would have to cut 100% of that communication because
mm,
the more I communicate, the more I could not really move on. I could not really move
that's it.
forward. Okay.
Sir.
So
Mhm.
my coping mechanism there is I have to totally abstract myself from the relationship, like no
Mm,
messages in as much as possible, no calls, because just like what Usi had experienced before, once, like for example, after that pain or after that hurt, then he would always want them to be in communication with that person. So if he is constantly communicating with that person, he could not move on. So every day he would
Mhm.
cry. Every day he would wish that something beautiful might happen. You know,
Lying. He's
Things will
lying.
change.
No, I guess for me, because I want things to end on a good note. I guess so. So I'm constantly, justifying it by saying like, is that person okay? Are we okay that this ended? So I always long for, like, you're checking on that person from time to time, making sure that all bridges aren't burned yet, but it should be burned. I mean, in the first place. But it's probably in me, in my innate nature, to just things are to be okay and then to be harmonious. That's why I try to. That's my justification of my idiocracy. So,
Uzi,
Idiocy.
remember, I am not lying. I used to give you advice already for you to stop and stop and stop, but you still do it, Uzi, because you're a hard-headed person when it comes to love, right? Uzi?
so I'm a hopeless romantic.
Sir D knows you very well,
Yes,
Uzi.
of course.
Oh my
I know
goodness.
him from head to toe. Yeah,
So
very
how
much.
about you? Know how do you deal with that urge not to
Yes,
communicate with your
yes.
ex?
Actually, to be honest, that I should distance myself for quite a while.
Mhm.
But most especially if the cause of the breakup or cause of is a misunderstanding that hurt us both. So it is normal, or what would I do is to distance myself. But along with that distance, I get to reflect on what has gone wrong. It is me. It is that person. Is it the other partner? So with that, you will be able to reflect and ask questions on that with from your partner. What went wrong? What is the reason
Mhm.
why we
Mhm.
ended up
Mhm.
this way? So
Mhm.
by the time that I get that answer, I am able to move forward.
Right.
Because if I do not get that answer, I will go circle back, stalk
Right, right.
in social media.
I totally get that closure. It's that closure that we always long for, even though that sometimes they just stop communicating altogether. I mean, you try to
Ghosted.
call them, you try to text them, you try to message them in Instagram, nothing, and then you to find out that you're blocked, so you don't have any closure, and then you go back to that cycle again. It's like, what went wrong? What went wrong? Was I at fault? Was he at fault? So, like, you're
Uzi,
stuck in a cycle again. You're stuck in that rut. So,
Uzi, that will take time. That will take time. It would always dependent on the person. Like for
Mm-hmm.
example, like for some people, they could not start with that conversation or with that communication unless they are healed already. So meaning then,
Mm,
if they could not still communicate, meaning they are still hurting. Okay,
mm.
or
So it's
if
not my fault.
of course you have
Well, the main question, Uzi, maybe does the person really know that you are in love with that person?
I
Maybe
of course
maybe that
overly
That's
in
a
person
different
is
love.
not.
story.
Oh, okay, okay.
Actually he was overly in love. He was madly in love with the
Jesus
person.
Christ.
Right, Uzi? I know you
Let's not
when you fall
exaggerate
in
things.
love. No, Uzi, you know that very well. I'm not exaggerating. I know then when you fall in love, you forget so many things. You forget even the rules.
Anyway, let's go back to the exes. So
Okay,
you were
so
saying, sir,
yeah,
that the person is still healing. Is that what you're
yes,
saying?
yes, yes. Like for
Right.
me, for example, I don't want to communicate because I am still in the process of healing, and I, I,
Mm,
and there a time will come wherein I can open up again, and
right.
maybe on that specific time where I can open up again is during the very time when I am already healed. Okay, we
Okay.
don't know
Oh,
when,
again.
we don't know then, but then the problem there is in that specific situation is the two persons may not be able to heal exactly at the same
At
time.
the
You know
same
what I
time.
mean? So
Right.
like
Yes.
for one, it may take like a year or 2 or 3 years, and then for another person it might take like for a month, and that he or 3 months that he could move on. So maybe the best thing for us to do maybe is how 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 can we be a good ex? You know what I mean? how, how can how can we be a
That's a
good
very difficult.
yeah
Exactly.
but we can be a good ex by simply not talking negatively about the person.
That's true.
Agreed.
Yeah,
That's true.
I think
Yeah.
That's true.
we
The
will not.
memories,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
memories that you have with each other
yeah.
stays between the two of you.
Yes,
Right,
you
right, right.
value the beautiful memories together more
Mhm.
than the negative situation that happened before your breakup. So I
Mhm.
think
Mhm.
that's it. And then, in as much as possible, though it's very difficult, it's always possible to wish them well.
Yeah.
To
Mhm.
pray for them. Although it's very difficult, yeah, like for
Oh
the
yeah.
first few months, for the first
Oh yeah.
like for a year, it is really very difficult. But it's always good, to wish them well. And then, in as much as possible, also like what is really very common is there are some people who would remove the old photos immediately. Like for example, for the artistas, you would know that they have
Broken up.
that they have broken up already
Mhm.
because they unfollowed each other,
They
right?
delete their
Yeah,
Instagram photos.
or they deleted their Instagram photos. But then,
Mhm.
in as much as possible, in relation to what I said, that if you could, take care of the beautiful memories together, it will also like relating much well with the pictures that that has
The
significantly
gifts.
became the reason of your happiness or of your
Mhm.
joy, right?
Mhm.
And then at some point also it's also good like to be a good ex. uh like if they've started dating someone, we should not be too negative about that, although it is very hurting, no, most especially if
Hmm.
you are the very person who are still moving on stage. When you are in that moving on stage, and then your partner has already like started
Found
dating
somebody. Yeah.
or found
Mhm.
somebody,
Yes.
diba? It's
Mhm.
really very hurting.
Fi-
But then
Certainly.
you have no choice. You just need to succumb to that pain and then
Right.
understand the situation, that in one way or the other you have to accept the reality. Okay. And then
Oh, okay.
uh one way also, like, we have to understand that after the breakup we have to realize that we cannot just jump into being friends again or immediately,
Yes.
right? So
Mhm.
you have to accept that fact, or in as much as possible, stop stalking. I think Uzi mentioned that earlier.
Stop
Yes.
Yeah,
stalking.
yeah, because if you
Yes,
stalk,
that's right.
yeah, because if you stalk, you could never move on. In as much
Mhm.
as you would want to move on, then to the next level of happiness that you would wish to experience, that you want to experience, you could never do that because you keep on stalking. So the more you stalk, the more the memories will get back to you, and then
Mhm.
the more the reality will haunt you.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes.
so wait for the time that you are healed, and during that time when you're healed, that's the time then that you get to start stalking again.
I think I think, sir, that the duration of moving on will actually dependent on how deep the
Mm.
relationship is and
Mhm.
Yeah,
how deep the pain was.
but then
Mhm.
Or,
remember, Mon, that it will always depend also on the person, no matter
mhm,
how
mhm.
deep the pain is. But if that person is used to move on as
A
fast as
masochist.
yeah,
A masochist.
we have to accept it that there are really people who could move on as fast as they can.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
true.
It is not as much as they would want to move on fast, but it is their
They,
coping
it's just
mechanism.
right.
That's how they cope. So like,
Mhm.
we manage our pain differently,
Right.
right?
Yes.
We've talked about this even, sir, in Kumu, in one of our adult things episodes.
Mm,
No,
mm,
we've talked about recently about forgiveness and the levels of forgiveness. And they one of our people there mentioned that there is conscious forgiveness and there's emotional forgiveness.
mm,
And then the only way that you could really start healing and moving on is that when you reach emotional forgiveness,
mm.
not just the other person, but you forgive yourself as
Yes.
well, because that's how you move on
Mm,
from your ex. If you yourself is whole and forgiven, and you're ready to face the world again as a whole as you can be, and then that's the time that you're totally forgiven, and then your ex wouldn't even matter at that point anymore. So yeah, I guess it all boils down to self love. I guess one of my friends
And
told
I
me that's
thank
like,
you.
it's like, because I was talking to this friend, it's like, well, why am I not in a relationship? I'm like, I'm 34 and it's like I still don't have any. It's like, well, it starts with self love. That's what she told me. So
Mm.
that's really something to think about,
Cannot
I
give
guess.
what you do not have.
Exactly.
Yes,
So
Yes.
Uzi. Remember,
Yeah.
Uzi, that you have been giving love more than the love that you give to yourself.
Grabe. So that's why and I should give that love to myself again.
Yes, 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 yes. Because if you do that, Uzi, whether there's someone beside you or you're alone, you will still be very happy.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Oh, and
Maybe it's not working.
and I think,
Ikaw, Nong.
yeah, and I think also, Uzi, that comes with age also. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, the more you age, the more you will understand also some concepts.
Mhm.
Maybe you're still young, that you could not still, that you are still in the brink really of thinking about, being at times hopeless, that you still, why is it that you still do not have partner? But then, you just keep on praying, Uzi, that that person will also come sooner or later. But remember also, it would also take a matter of destiny, because if there's someone really destined for
Destiny.
you, yeah, there's really, I believe there's really a person that is destined for you, and that person
I guess.
might
Yeah.
come,
I mean,
might come in your life one day.
who
And
knows?
and the past relationship is actually a preparation for you to be the whole
Yes,
person for that
yes,
Mm,
person that is
yes.
mhm.
destined for
Yeah, I
you.
I I I
That's right.
remember then. I remember then someone told me that uh after the breakup, that that person has been the was just an instrument for me to be able to experience a higher form of happiness. But of course, the very first time I got that message, I wasn't so happy. I wasn't so
Or
happy. Yeah, because I would still want to be with that person. But then, like,
Right? Diba?
yeah, so in that, but eventually I believe then that previous relationship just is just preparing us for something that is bigger, something that
Mhm.
mm,
is something, I mean, like,
Destined.
something to be in a relationship really, that will give us really the truest joy and the truest happiness
joy.
that we could
Oh.
experience,
Mhm.
right?
Something to
So
think
don't
about.
give up, Uzi, don't give up too soon, Uzi.
I don't
Somebody
know.
will come and find you.
How about
Yes.
you? Know how do you deal with your exes?
Actually, my last ex, I have to move out of the country, so
Mm.
that actually maybe it just fell into place that during the time that it is a very difficult situation for the both of us. It just came to a point that I have to move out from the country, so that basically helped the distance. Basically helped um, uh, um, for me to move on.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I do feel you, Uzi, about stalking, about getting that closure too. So there was some point that I am trying to reach out still, but since the person is not anymore interested to talk, and so basically the door was shut in my face. So
Mhm.
that realization just gave me or that situation gave me the realization that
It's
I
over.
have to move on. I
Right.
have to get on with my life. I
Mm.
will not be able. I should not be encased or enslaved by
Mhm.
this feeling of anguish, of
Mm.
pain, because the
Anxiety.
person already married. So
Oh.
so basically, I have to move on.
Right.
And
Right.
there's no point of clinging into into that feeling. So but in order for you really to prepare yourself for a next relationship, you will you need to make yourself whole again,
Mm.
Mm.
so that you will be able to give that. that adequate love and the love that that other person deserves. Otherwise, it will it will still affect your relationship.
Mhm.
Meaning you have to be whole again so that
Yes.
you will be able to share a part of you.
Of you.
Because you could,
Yes, you
yeah,
cannot give what you have, don't have.
yes, Uzi. Diba? Because when you're not whole, because when you're not yet whole,
Mhm.
again, you will not be able to share a part of you. And if in case like you have that something that you share that you can share to to your partner, it is
Mm.
really not just a part,
Half
but it's
baked.
it yeah, half baked, whatever the word would that be more. But it's really something that is not coming from you. It is really coming from somewhere.
Mm.
You know what
And
I
it's
mean?
also difficult, sir, to sustain the new relationship because you know that you are not giving your 100%, and
Right.
at a certain point in time, that person will be able to feel that,
Mm.
and
Yes.
it just makes everything fall apart. So
And yeah, and
things will not work even.
it will be unfair, and it will be unfair on
Yes.
that to that
And the new
specific person,
person.
yeah,
Yeah.
of the newest person in your life. So you have to heal totally first before you engage into a totally different relationship,
Mhm.
right?
I have to share one statement I read from Mark Manson.
Mm,
The difference between a healthy and unhealthy relationship comes down to two things. Number one, how well each person in relationship accepts responsibility. And number two, the willingness of each person to both reject and be rejected by their partner. So
mm,
the entire text actually talks about values
mm,
and the values of you as a person. So you can only give if you know the boundaries of your boundary and your relationship's boundary. You know how to accept responsibility, and you are ready to either reject or accept, or either reject the person or be rejected by that person. Otherwise, you will not be able to have a healthy relationship.
yeah, my take on that is actually to have commitment, no, before you engage into that relationship. You have to be committed first. You have to commit yourself, okay? Because if you are half-hearted, then in that specific relationship, the relationship will never last long.
Mhm.
Okay, so you have to be ready first. You have to be ready with the commitment because it is a responsibility, right? And it is with that responsibility then that you will have to, you know, to accept everything, all the negative part of that relationship, because there will always be something that will be negative. And knowing then that the two of you are having a totally different personality, so there will surely be like issues, and it is like for you to like the two of you to accept each other, and I think that is really very very important.
Mhm.
I'm
So,
wondering, sir, how about with the friends that you both form together? So because of course you have your circle of friends,
Mm,
that your partner has his or her own circle of friends, and when you are in a relationship, most likely than not, those circles of friendship merge together, or you also form friendships while you are together. Now
mm,
that you are
apart.
separated, it's quite difficult for me
mm,
honestly to handle or to imagine how to balance my relationships now with my friends,
mm,
considering that um uh,
mm,
they are also friends of my
mm.
ex.
Mhm.
Like for me, I have to establish really a very healthy boundary. Uh,
Mhm.
Establishing a healthy boundary would mean like I believe my friends will respect if in case like I have to stay away for like at a certain time, because if I am with them, I will always be reminded of that pain. I
Mhm.
will always be reminded of that person. So if I wish to move on as fast as I can, I have to move away first. And
Mhm.
Sure.
of course, I will not do that if I will not be able to talk to them. I will have to talk to them and really let them
Explain.
understand. Yeah, let them understand, why should I do that?
Mhm.
And I believe as friends, they will really have to understand also what I am going through at that specific point in time.
And it's hard, sir, that you have like common friends because in one point of
Hmm.
your conversation, they will or you will bring up about the breakup,
Yes.
and they will
Yes.
say like, "Have you talked to this person yet?" And
Hmm.
then of course you rip the band-aid again, and then you talk about it again, and then
Hmm.
you go into that cycle that you'll never move on, and then it's gonna be awkward with your friends as well because you don't have anything to talk to. You want to talk to them about the
Hmm.
breakup,
Hmm.
but here you are constricting yourself not to because you're trying to move on, and then you
Move on.
talk about other things. But again, it's I think it's all about self-discipline, I guess, and not to totally cut off yourself from your friends because they're your friends after all. But it's
Yeah.
just like probably policing yourself not to talk about the relationship because it's just causing you pain, and it's
Hmm.
causing you more anxiety, and you can't move on.
Correct.
I,
Correct.
my the for me the challenge there is if the friends themselves are very polarized
Mm.
to like side with a partner, side with
Ooh,
you,
yeah,
so making things
it's
more
harder.
that
Yeah.
yeah, making things more difficult to
Mhm.
deal with. And I really hope that you are able to circle yourself with friends that are open-minded that
Hmm.
will truly understand that what you're going through, so that it will not just like what Uzi said, ripping the band-aid over and over again, because um, uh, one group will side with a partner, most especially if the situation between your partner was too intense or the breakup was not very amicable.
Mhm.
Correct.
Mhm.
Correct. So I think, to end this, like in my case personally, of course, I'll be asking you in a while, is uh, we have to establish really that healthy really boundary. I wish to go back to that because I think that's very important. We have to establish a healthy boundary. So that, I mean, like, that boundary will give us space, so that we could grieve over the loss of that relationship, so that we could move forward and start a new life.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I mean, that's my take. And then if you ask me, can exes be still friends?
Yes.
Yes, it is absolute. Yeah, it is.
with with a
Yes,
resounding yes.
yes, it is.
No,
It,
because
yeah.
in reality, I'm good friends with most of my exes. No, it even surprised me, sir. You're talking about healing.
Hmm.
In one point of time, this one particular ex of mine, we didn't really end up on a good note, but down the line, like after X amount of years, like 9, 10, 8 years later, we really hit it off. We were good friends. We were talking again, and we were better in a better space than we were before. So, and
Both of you
I do
matured,
believe that.
Uzi.
Yeah, I know.
Both of you
Maybe
matured already.
the person matured too. Who knows?
Yes, of course. I
But yeah,
mean, yeah. Go on.
we're in a good place right now. So I do believe that exes can
Yeah,
be good
yeah.
friends.
It's
Yeah.
really possible. It will always just depend on the situation
Right.
of the two people who are involved. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So anyway,
Yeah.
what about you, Mon?
Still, I would like for everybody to remember to make peace with the past.
Hmm.
Maybe it is not something like you have to, and it is not something like that you have to do right away. It may take a while. But when I say again, maybe just to be more specific, give that past a closure. Maybe that uh, maybe that would need a communication with the partner or with a person or not. But you have to make sure that that chapter in your life
It's
is
true.
closed completely, so that you can make yourself whole again and move forward to the next
Mm-hmm.
relationship. So that is my
Okay. So
Yes,
anyway,
perfect.
what is really very important for this story is really to have respect. As what we've mentioned earlier, we have to respect also our ex. Okay. With that respect, meaning then we don't have to talk negatively to about our ex. We have to remove all the negativities. We have to wish them well in as much as possible. We have to be happy of their successes. So that will always have to entail that certain respect, no? In as much as we want them to respect us as well. Because no matter what happened, we are holding on to that beautiful memories together. Okay? So
That really hits home. Especially these holy days.
okay. So I think we are ending at this point in time. We say good luck and thank you very much to all our exes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
And
will-
we'd like to
all our
thank
exes.
steakstore.com.
Yes,
I'm
of
wearing
course.
one of their shirts now. It's
Ooh.
Filipinas.
Wow,
There you
that's
go.
beautiful.
That's really
That's
nice.
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's
Yeah.
Filipinas. So at steakstore.com, go check it out. aztigstore.com. Free shipping, US, Canada, and the UK. For every purchase that you buy, a portion goes into buying chinelas for these
Good
fortunate brothers and
cause.
sisters
Uzi.
back home.
Yes, Uzi,
Yes.
what about the Philippines? Do they ship in the Philippines?
They're more focused on this side of the world right now.
Okay. Okay. So meaning I will just call on a friend to ship the shirts
Yes.
Yes.
through Uzi. Through Uzi.
You could ask Madaf.
So you
No,
order
because
sir through Uzi, and then Uzi will ship it to you.
No, not ship
no,
it to me. He will bring it here.
Oh
Oh,
yes,
well, I mean,
he
there's
will
only
be
a few
home
days left, but
soon, so that is
hopefully.
very nice.
But
Uzi. Joke.
so anyways, go check it out,
Yes.
astigstore.com. Thank you very much for the
Okay.
shirt.
Yeah, okay. So I
Yes,
guess
and once
yes.
again, thank you, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button or hit the notification bell so that you will be updated with our new updates and videos. So
Mm.
there you go. And thank you very much to all of our prime movers. Yay!
Yeah, prime movers. Yeah. Mga ka-prime movers. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, all
Until
right.
next video, thank you, Sir D's. Thank you,
Thank you,
Uzi.
Mo.
I'll
Thank
see
Thank
you
you,
next
you.
Uzi.
See
time.
you
Bye-bye.
soon. Stay
Bye-bye.
pink.
See ya. Stay pink.